Meralco looks about 18% undervalued right now, even after the sell-off, even after the policy shock, and even after the market basically hit the panic button. So here's the real question. It's not whether Meralco got hit. Hello, it did got hit. The real question is this. Did the market just give you a discount, or did it correctly price a business that's about to get structurally worse? Because if it's the first one, this may be a gift. However, if it's the second, this is a trap and a value investor's haircut. Meralco fell about 20-25% in the last 4 weeks. No? No fraud, no earnings miss, no blackout. Just one policy shock. And that tells you something very important. This was not a business breaking down in public. This was a market reacting to a policy headline. That matters because in utilities, policy can hit harder than earnings. A company can post fine numbers and still get crushed if investors suddenly think the rules are changing. That's what happened here. And if you want to understand whether this sell off is real, if it's an opportunity, or if it's a trap, you have to understand three things. First, how Meralco actually makes money. Second, what system loss really is. And third, why the next rate reset matters just as much as the policy risk itself. If you miss those three, you will miss the whole story. Now, how does a power utility actually make money? Let's keep it simple. Think of your electricity bill like a relay race. The power plant makes the electricity, the grid moves it, Meralco, the distributor, delivers it, and you pay at the finish line. Meralco only gets paid for one leg. It collects the money, forwards most of it, and keeps a distribution fee for its own network. The poles, the wires, the crews, the trucks, the people who show up when your power trips and the rest of us are checking the fan like it's personally betrayed us. That means not every person or peso on the bill is Meralco's revenue. A lot of it is just passed through. In the first quarter of 2026, Meralco brought in about 121 billion pesos in revenue. Its regulated distribution business earned about 10.4 billion in EBITDA. So yes, the company is large. But no, it's not sitting on a giant vault of systems loss cash like some carbon villain with an agenda. That's the wrong model. And that's the misunderstanding at the heart of this whole entire controversy. Because once people hear what systems loss actually means for Meralco, that it's not charging some fake costs, because that's not what it is. So what is systems loss actually? Systems loss is electricity that gets lost before it reaches your outlet. Some of it is technical. Electricity moves through the wires, heat happens, resistance happens. Physics is sometimes annoying that way. And some of it is non-technical. You've got theft, pilferage, bad meters, operational leakage. Either way, the power is gone. And under current rules, the ERC allows reasonable systems loss to be recovered as part of the cost of the service. So that's very important because this is not a law of nature, it's a regulatory design. If the charge disappears, the electricity still gets lost. The cost just stops being billed directly to you. So the real question is not should consumers pay for this? The real question is who absorbs the cost when the charge disappears? That's the entire debate. It's not feelings, it's not politics, just who pays the bill when it changes shape. So, why was the market panicked last week? Let's talk about the sell off. Meralco traded near 600 pesos in early July, and it closed July, if I remember correctly, at about 480 per share. That's down about 20-25% in just 4 weeks. No fraud, no earnings miss, No blackout, just one policy shock. That's a big move for a business that did not actually break. And that's why I think the market may have rushed the verdict. The line that triggered this was simple. President called systems laws unfair and asked Congress to remove it. Three bills followed fast, and suddenly everyone became a power sector expert overnight, including me, which is not always a good sign because when a market gets this emotional, this fast, it often starts pricing the worst case like it's the base case. And that's where opportunities are born or traps. Usually just one of the two. So the three bills, what's actually on the table? There's three main proposals right now. First is House Bill 10357. That's the nuclear option. It bans recovery of systems loss and VAT entirely. Second is Senate Bill 2076, and that one only removes VAT on systems loss, not the charge itself. Third is Senate Bill 2131, which caps reasonable systems loss at 1% only for every utility. If you're reading that and thinking, okay, Meralco is cooked, slow down, easy, because political math is not that simple. Meralco is not the weakest utility in this debate. It's the electric cooperatives. Electric cooperatives. Meralco runs a dense urban grid in Metro Manila. The co-ops are dealing with older lines, longer distances, and much higher systems loss in the range of 10 to 16%. So that matters because if you remove the systems loss costs completely, you don't hit all utilities equally. A blanket removal could hurt weaker co-ops badly, and no politician wants to explain rural blackouts after promising cheaper electricity. That's why most likely outcome is not a clean yes or no. It's actually a compromise. Probably messy, probably political, probably not what the loudest headline suggests. What may the market be pricing wrong? Okay, here's the key point. The stock, Meralco, may already be pricing in the harshest outcome as if it were the default. Now, that's so damn interesting for me because when I ran the numbers, Meralco still looks undervalued by about 18%, even after fully pricing in the policy risk that just hit the stock. Now, that doesn't mean the risk is fake. It's not fake. It means simply the market may have gone too far in assuming the worst case outcome is the likely outcome. And when that happens, you usually want to ask a second question. What else is in the setup that people are missing? For Meralco, the answer is simple. Rate reset. That's the counterweight. Meralco's next rate reset lands in the second half of 2026, and this matters because it means the company is already in the middle of renegotiating its allowed economics with the Energy Regulatory Commission or ERC. In English, the company is not just sitting there waiting to get hit. It has a regulatory process working in the background that can partially offset pressure if the system's loss is constrained. Now, that doesn't erase the risk, but it makes the story a whole lot more complicated than just charge removed, earnings destroyed. Woo! Meralco has already filed its 2027 to 2030 proposal, which includes a maximum average price of 2 pesos 34 centavos per kilowatt regulated return and its capex. So if the systems loss debate tightens things up, the reset is the obvious place where some of that pressure can be relieved. That's why I keep saying this is not just a stock story. It's a policy story wrapped inside a rate setting story, wrapped inside a valuation story, which is why it got messy so fast. Now let's do a business quality check now. Let's step back and ask the actual long term question. Is this a good business? Yes. Meralco is a natural monopoly in its territory. It has a long franchise. It has no real competition inside its distribution area, and it's kept systems loss below the regulatory cap for 18 straight years. 18 straight years. Its return on equity has been strong, its balance sheet is investment grade, and its dividend policy is real. So, this is not a broken business. This is a strong business dealing with a loud political headline. That distinction matters a lot because a loud headline is not the same thing as a permanent impairment. Now, to be fair, the risk is real. If populist pressure hits both the systems loss debate and the rate reset at the same freaking time, then yes, earnings could be squeezed. And if the ERC turns stingier than expected, the offset might be smaller than market hopes. And that's the honest bear case. Or it might be bigger rather. But even then, the market has already done a lot of the derating for you. It's dropped a lot. Now let's talk about valuation. Here's the simple version of power valuation. So I used 2025 core net income for Meralco of 50.6 billion as a rough proxy for cash available for shareholders. I projected it forward at a conservative 5% growth rate. I used a 3% terminal growth rate and I discounted it at 11% WACC. That gives me an intrinsic value, net present value of 649 per share. That stock closed July at 480 per share. That's the whole argument in one comparison. Then I stress tested it in the worst case scenario. Full removal without any offset. Fair value came at around 475 pesos. That's basically where the stock was already trading. So the market is behaving like the worst case is already guaranteed. That may not be right at all. And when the market gets too certain, it usually creates a chance, opportunity, the payoff. So here's the verdict. Meralco is not a clean trap. Not at all. A trap is a cheap stock in a business that is quietly getting worse. This is not that. The franchise is intact, the balance sheet is fine, the operating discipline is real. The rate reset is already in motion. So I'd call it this. Value with real priced risk. Not risk free, not safe, but probably not as broken as the market is assuming. The real question is not whether systems loss could be cheaper for consumers. The real question is who absorbs the cost when the charge disappears. And if the answer ends up being a compromise, phased in, VAT only removal, or a rate reset that offsets part of the damage, then the sell off has been just too far. That's the Meralco problem. It's not a fraud story, not an earnings story, not even a policy pricing story. And right now, the market may be pricing the worst news that actually never arrives.